I have now the great pleasure to invite Anssi Vanjoki, Executive Vice President and General Manager of No Markets at Nokia, also member of the board of the Executive Board of Nokia Group. Anssi has been a visionary force within Nokia to address mobility markets since a couple of years. His work has been focused on developing Nokia brand and convergence, mobile and the internet. He's also the man behind the N series, device fleet, and Nokia services. Anssi?
It's another Monday. Everything starts on Monday. I'm really happy to be in this particular event here on this Monday. It's not the first Monday of the month, but anyhow, it's a Monday. So what more proper environment would it be for the people who have been part of what I would call the movement of Mobile Monday. Today it's about peer awards here, but before you will have all of that, I wanted to share with you some views that I and Nokia have about the future moving forward. We are all today feeling that the world has changed. Because if we look at the real history of the business of mobility, since the late 1980s till today, it's been pretty much kind of a ever-increasing business. We've had two dips before the one that we are experiencing right now, but those have been pretty fast recuperated and the direction of growth has continued. Personally, I feel that we are not seeing that there's going to be a magic that's going to bail us out after this. It's really a different situation than the first 2 months that we have experienced. Today we all know that there are more than 4 billion subscriptions out there for mobile, whatever we call them. Let's say just mobile subscriptions. Most of them are there for voice, some for messaging, and an increasing amount actually used for doing other things on mobile. If we just think, that there are 4 billion of those, it doesn't mean that there are 4 billion people who would be using mobile devices. That's a number something less. But the real growth potential, just to do what we have always been doing throughout the 20 years of history of this industry, is just not going to be enough. But fortunately, at the same time, we are seeing that other industries adjacent to the mobile industry that all are dealing with the digital world that we live in are all starting to converge. And much of the original concepts that we have had for mobiles and telephones in particular are changing. People here, I know that I am preaching to the converts, so not to dwell on that, but we know that it's not about mobile telephone. Mobile telephony is something that will be vital and important for many years to come into the future, but that's a commodity that offers very little new. So we need to take the converging winds of digitalization and bring mobility to a different arena. And that, I believe, is very much doable. In an economic downturn, I always have considered that, and I've lived through 3 of those during my business life. I think that that's when winners are built. Winning happens during an economic upturn, but when you actually do the winning formula is during an economic downturn. And that's what we are right now in. This is where fortunes will be redistributed, because we all know that the old medicine will not work after we recuperate from this situation. Something new has to be there. So if you really have an idea, if you really are passionate about what you're doing, now is the best moment to secure that actually you will be having the success when things change. This is also the testing time in terms of looking at what's not real. Because when there is not plenty of resourcing available for any foolish idea, it will die. When you die, you die. You don't exist anymore. But those who have staying power and life, now is the time when actually the winners are built. I believe that the formula for success is somehow also generic. And what I mean by that is that if we look at our whole mobile market, what has happened there, and on the other hand, we just look at what has happened in the internet. The internet and mobility as phenomena for consumers are about the same age. As technologies, they are older and not so different, but for consumers, they are about the same age. They have been very much growing through different paths, and only in the past few years have they really started to merge. The web, people in the web side of things, they talk about the web 2.0, moving from information depository and retrieval into a place where social interactivity is everything. And we in mobile have said that mobile will come out of age, and it will not be only about telephony and messaging, but it will be about other things as well. At Nokia, we believe that now is when the WebNG for next generation is actually happening. When we marry the social capabilities of the web and we enrich them by the time and place and relationship awareness, that's a 24/7, 365, like we are as human beings, that will change the whole platform on which we in this audience develop, but in which people actually live. Virtuality will now and is now already very much a part of our everyday routine, the real world where we live. We are different to other creatures on this planet by one thing. We are aware. We know where we are. We know who we are. We have relationships and we prosper them. And when all of that is made present in virtual, that will give us a different platform. That's what I mean by the communality and the generic nature of what's going to wait for us next. We see this in user behavior change. Users today, particularly the young ones, they are all hanging in the web. They don't go to web for a visit, but they're hanging in there. They're hanging there with their buddies. They are bringing new things through that to everybody. And when you hang in the web, it's much nicer when you can hang in the web everywhere and not only in front of the desk. And that's the user behavior we are seeing. This has very much been kind of made slow to progress by the high cost of doing it. But when we look at what's going on right now, is that the tariffs of the mobile networks have been coming down to very reasonable levels. The devices are taking advantage of things like wireless LAN, which is open in many different places. And in this way, the behaviors are changing. We are all starting to really hang in the web and not only visit it. This has, of course, been also enabled by the change of the actual mobile product concept. One word that I have always hated, and I still do, and you have not heard me and you will not hear me use that word too much, is a smartphone. Because in my opinion, a phone cannot be smart. Phone is a very stupid device. Because phone, you can hit the numbers that are somehow connected to a place and increasingly to a person, and that's it. Having a telephone number connected to a place or a person is not very good. But having an IP address connected to a person is all the more better. And when you make use of that by the help of a product which truly is a computer and not a